Hello everyone, welcome to the inaugural episode of Winston Says, your one-stop drop for becoming a better Hex player. This is Dino, and today we're going to talk about the Hex Sandwich, a tool I like to use when introducing new players to competitive play. In this episode we'll be focusing on draft and a list of tips and tricks for evaluating the overall strength of your picks, and to do so we'll be using our favorite starchy friend, bread. Simply put, bread is an acronym designed to help beginning drafters know what to prioritize in a pack. This is not an all-the-time thing, and in subsequent episodes I will discuss exceptions to this rule, but it is an excellent foundation if you are new to drafting in Hex. We will begin with the big bad bomb. And when you hear this term, I want you to ask yourself the question, can it win you the game in a few turns? Bombs are your face wreckers, your game changers, the backbone of your deck. You want to look for big bodies, evasion, and escalating damage. I've taken the liberty of putting together some examples on screen that we'll move through from set 1 through set 3. We can see that these troops often have flight, rage, or sockets, things like Thunderbird, Hellhound, or Ash Harpy. If unanswered, these will win you the game in just a few turns. We see a similar collection in set 2. Warbot Dropship in particular is terrifying because not only is it large, hard to kill, and evasion-y, it provides overwhelming board advantage by making robot babies. Remember that in Draft in particular, and in Limited in general, the board is king. Anything that comes down and threatens both the board and somebody's face like Bloodpit Reaver is the textbook definition of a limited powerhouse. Next we have removal. Our question this time is, can it take something off your opponent's board? You will not be the only one with bombs in your deck, and you'll need some way to handle your opponent's shenanigans. There are many types of removal, but today we will talk about 3: hard, tempo, and on a stick. Now, hard removal is the bleach of a TCG, your hunter-seeker missile. When something is removed the hard way, it usually isn't coming back without the help of another card. We want you to look for terms like destroy, void, or damage. There may be conditions attached to the use of these cards, but basically, if it murdifies something, it fits the bill. Tempo, on the other hand, is a different sort of beast. Typically, it stops a threat for a limited time. Anything that returns a troop to hand or exhausts for a turn can be classified in this way. It can be incredibly powerful and isn't to be underestimated, but in general, you want to pick hard removal over tempo when the choice presents itself. Finally, we have removal on a stick. What is better than normal removal? Removal that also helps you develop your board. Remember, 90% of your draft will be won because you have some stompy on the board that your opponent can't get rid of. You should value these guys highest of all. After you finish picking your removal, you're going to want to pick evasion. And this gives us the fairly obvious prompt, is it hard to block? If so, evasion. Typically you want to look for flight, sockets, and unblockables. The overall power of these troops will depend on their numbers within a given draft environment, but as a general rule of thumb, there'll be more troops without flight than with. Note also that sockets are somewhat shard dependent. The socketed troop will need to be played in either Ruby or Sapphire to be sneaksy. Then, last but not least, if a card has unblockable in its text somewhere, it is Exhibit A for the evasion category. You'll want to pick up these after you pick up your removal. Next we have our activatables, which is a quick way of asking, does it do something besides sit there and be a troop? Does it dress up like an action on Sundays? These cards are desirable because they advance your board. Remember, the board is king, and anything that gives board presence while also providing utility is desirable. It's like having both an action and a troop for the price of one card slot in your deck. It's very efficient. Take Stink Troll, for example. It's a 3/2 body that can also give another troop +1/+1 and crush at quick speed. It's super useful, and you're going to want to pick these after evasion. And finally, we have the double Ds, the dudes that suck. Or duds, for short. If you ever wonder what makes a dud, just ask yourself this question. Does it make you sad when you see it in your pack? If the answer is yes, then ding ding ding, you found a dud. And these are typically expensive, difficult to play, have no abilities or keywords, are understated for the cost, or otherwise provide card disadvantage by forcing you to sacrifice something or discard cards when using them. I should note that duds are still playable. It's not that they should never be included in a deck, but typically you want to be picking these cards last. And that's all she wrote. Thank you so much for watching. In the following episodes, we will continue to work our way through the Hex Sandwich until we get to the meat of the matter, but my ultimate goal for this series is to dive deep on topics you guys are interested in, whether it's curve construction, hate drafting strategies, or card counts. Make sure to let me know down below what fancies your feast, and don't forget to hit that follow button. Thank you so much, everybody. Dino out.